Swakopmund-based artist, camera woman, and now poet Lize Dames is about to publish her first compilation of her poems.
I started writing at the age of 12, and at first it was quite difficult to just get the feelings onto the page. From there I've been writing ever since, and it's taken me about 20 years to complete this poetry compilation. It is a two-parter. First part in Afrikaans, titled In Oorvloed. The second part of it is titled The Fairy Tale Tree, which is the English compilation. And yeah, it's taken quite a while. I have, as of this morning, met with a potential publisher, and now we are starting to reach out to get this book on the map and in shops across Namibia and hopefully across South Africa as well.
I asked her to share what inspires her craft.
I would say Ingrid Yonker is definitely my greatest inspiration. She is an Afrikaans poet, and her depth of poetry and words are as deep as the ocean. She is no longer with us. She ended her life by poetically walking into the ocean. And her stuff is all in Afrikaans. And when I just got into poetry, this is what I was reading. And it was absolutely amazing just to feel inspired by this woman. She is one of a kind. Poetry is expression, and therefore it cannot die out, especially in Namibia. We have so many rappers, artists, poets, spoken word folk. These guys are all out there, and thus I think there is no other way for poetry to just keep on living.
I asked her why sharing your artistic impressions is important in this day and age.
I'm an artist specializing in creation through combining mixed media such as photography, poetry, and paint. I find a unique way to interoperate all that surrounds us, whether it be the harsh realities life sprouts forth, the true pure splendor we all tend to so easily overlook, or even the light-hearted imaginative side we all crave to explore. I grew up on a farm in the far south of Namibia. Thus, nature has always been my greatest inspiration and guide throughout my creative processes. Imagination plays a great role in what I do, especially in the English compilation of the book. And without it, there would be no depth or feeling to the poetry, which, as we know, is the most important part of writing, is to have the reader feel like they are actually right there with you. The Afrikaans section of the book, In Oorvloed, is based a lot on the farm. A lot of farm life, a lot of endeavors with family and loved ones. Also set in a very aesthetic and fantasy world to some extent. The English compilation, very love-orientated. I was at the time reading 1700 and 1600 novel poetry and got quite inspired by that, and that is what I try to carry through in the English work as well. The poetry book can be requested, and you can send me an email to lizedames@outlook.com. You, me, and the fairy tale tree. You and me at the bottom of the fairy tale tree. You and me as black as silhouettes can be. Have you ever peeped at a mystical creature, or wondered in a place enormous flying sunfish came to feature? The purple sugar spoon comes to collect. Water from the fountain of youth the blue dolphins protect. They live on the edge of the gusto seas, where the blue-winged poised ferry can be at ease. Here she balances on the edge of their tails, watching the 5-armed clock, announcing bedtime fairy tales. As the yellow earth moon gazes upon us, we see the puny agaric man making a fuss. He screams at the fairy of bliss, "You'll knock me off my mushroom, that was a near miss." She could not care less of what he had to say. She was sprinkling fairy dust on every pathway. As the turquoise swan flies past the earth moon, she casts her shadow an hour too soon. The butterfly leaves left without a task to do. They are glorious, but only a few. splendid sun-dried colors covered in gilded dew. On a soft musk branch of the fairy tale tree, we find a petite nocturnal fairy. As he sings his sweet lullaby, notes send drifting on the evening sky. In the shade of the vibrant agarics, he is never one to panic. The soul window passes by, in the late red October sky. Fairy dust sprinkles from her radiant red eyelashes as she pours today's rainbow ashes. Amber in color, brown and gold, she carries us away to shape, to mold. The sun sets over you and me. We fly in our teacup across the gusto sea. How wondrous this world may seem. Oh, the joy of a daydream.
And with that, it's a wrap. Thanks for watching.